Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, we're going to be discussing the 1980 comedy 9 to 5, starring Donnie Porn, Jane Fonda, and Lily Tomlin, as well as Dabney Coleman. Well, this film is almost kind of like a employee gain revenge, or three employees, I should say, gain their revenge on their boss. And that's basically what this movie is. As a matter of fact, the song is better than the movie. We're going to get into it in a minute. Of course, this movie's, I guess it starts Danny Coleman as a sexist boss who promotes. Excuse me. It's very humid today here in New York. So it plays a sexist boss who has employees who mostly are women, but he employs men to higher positions than the women do. So you have Lily Tomlin, who has trained a lot of the workers who get promoted, promoted instead of her. If she gets her bent out of shape about it, and she dreams of killing her boss or bumping him off, or hitting him over the head and says, "What's wrong? What's wrong with you? Or what's wrong with you? I've been here longer than anybody, and you're not promoting me." And Donnie Porn plays the secretary. I think this might have been Donnie Porn's first actual movie role. I'm not too sure on that. But of course, Donnie Porn also wrote and performed the song 9 to 5, which was a huge commercial hit for her. And she was, and it made her do a crossover artist because of the song 9 to 5 and her performance in this movie. I thought she was terrific, and she was about maybe 3-4 years old at the time. And I thought she was terrific. Of course, she's also not bad looking, which also kind of helps. And of course, she's one of the world's best country singers. I mean, her and Reba McEntire are the two big actresses, big country music singers that crossed over into probably pop charts, and people know who they are. And she did great in the Green. And Donnie Porn hasn't done any main movies, in more recent years. But back then, I thought she was the hottest thing that ever come out of Nashville, the country music scene, other than maybe Kenny Rogers, because he was starting to make TV movies. And of course, Donnie Porn made theatrical films, so you had the two of them, and she was terrific in this film. Also, you have, of course, Lily Tomlin, who was fresh off of the show like a decade earlier. She was on Laughing, so she was in there. Of course, she was known for comedy, and Jane Fonda she did a couple of comedy roles like Cat Ballou, and maybe like Barbarella became a cult favorite, but Jane Fonda was not really all that well known in comedy. I mean, she had like you just mentioned, a couple of comedy roles, but she was not known for straight out silly comedy, which 9 to 5 is. And Danny Coleman is known for comedy, and all of them were terrific in this film, in some capacity. Of course, Jane Fonda plays a new worker in the company, and she was screwing up all over the place. And Danny Coleman almost fired her a couple of times because of her screw-ups. And of course, what happens was, they decided, they knew that there was some plan in the works, and they decided to get one up on one up that boss, and decided to, hey, if we do this deal, because this guy is not going to do what's right for us, so let's kidnap him, and let's get even, let's bump him off. So Lily Tomlin thought that she actually accidentally killed her boss, but sorry on my phone there. She thought she killed her boss, but he actually bumped his head on his desk and knocked himself out. So, but they decided to get him out of the hospital, take him out of the hospital, kidnap him. When they found out it was going to be okay, they took him out of the hospital, and they put him up and tie him up in his house. because he knew his wife, Danny Coleman's wife, was actually out of town for about like 2 weeks. So I said, oh, if we could hold him up, tie him up, we could run this place and prove to the higher ups in the company that we know what we're doing. And Jane Fonda and Johnny Porn went along with the idea, so the three were like running the whole department secretly. Meanwhile, Danny Coleman was getting all the credit, and of course, when the chairman of the board finds out what's going on, he says, "Oh, wow, that's a great idea," and actually gave Danny Coleman a promotion to moved him from whatever town they were in to Brazil. And of course, in the text scroll at the end of the movie it says, that he got kidnapped by some natives in Brazil, and no one ever heard from him again, which was funny. What made it even funnier was when they had the text scroll for Johnny Porn's character. He said, "Oh, she decided to become a country singer." No shit. Of course, he's a country singer. So we all know Johnny Porn was a country singer, and he said, "Oh, she quit the company. Go be a country singer." No kidding. And of course, Nellie Tomlin got to promote her character, got the promotion she wanted to get, and you had Jane Fonda also got remarried and left, and so it's pretty much what happened at the end of the film. But the movie is kind of iconic because you never really saw a movie like that, where the premise where you have three women going after that sexist boss. And I mean, it was groundbreaking in that way, but the movie was. When I saw the movie, I thought it was. I mean, it was a silly comedy. I do like some of the hijinks that was going on in the hospital, and at the time I thought that she actually poisoned her boss. I thought that was, to me, I thought that was the funniest part of the whole movie. And with the stuff where they tie him up, and I mean, it was I thought it was a little exaggerated, trying to push the comedy edges when they had that sequence going on. But in terms of the film, I thought it was quite entertaining. You could argue it's dated because it came out in 1980, so it's kind of dated. But you see, at least two comedy legends in the movie, Danny Coleman and Lily Tomlin in this film, and it's fun to see Jane Fonda actually do a comedy instead of supporting the North the Viet Cong like she did back in the 60s and early 70s, which was supporting, which was known as Hanoi Jane. But I think over the years, I think she had regretted it because of the backlash she had gotten. But it's nice to see her do a comedy because I mostly know Jane Fonda for her dramatic roles, but she's been good in. But to see her in a silly comedy like this is fun. And of course, Johnny Porn, the few movies that she was in, she was also known for doing comedy roles and not a dramatic role. So and I think, like I said earlier, I think this was Johnny Porn's first movie role. But it's fun to see this film and look back and see how young Johnny Porn looks like in this movie. And same thing with Jane. Well, I think Johnny Porn was the only one that was like under 40 when this movie came out. Like I said earlier, Johnny Porn was about 3-4 years old. Jane Fonda was about 41, and Lily Tomlin was like 44, 45 years old when she did this movie. And I think also Johnny Coleman was also in his late 30s or at least early 40s when he did this movie. So Johnny Porn was like the youngest one at 34, was the youngest one in this film. But to see her, and she was very, very good on screen, a very, very good performer, and all the way around. And so that's my review of the movie 9 to 5. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at RallyC.com, so WDY, and C.com. There's a homepage to the Rally Reviewer. Christine Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.